The dangers of distracted driving. Hello and welcome to Throwing Your Parents Under the Bus podcast. I'm Jane Ubel, and with me today is veteran crash investigator and driver safety expert Mike Pehl, who is here to help us learn defensive driving skills in order to steer clear of distracted drivers on the road. But before he gives you his wisdom, I'm going to let Natasha tell us the story from one of our very astute students who reminded us the importance of this topic. Natasha?
Yes. So though April is Distracted Drivers Awareness Month, we wanted to carry that on and through May and every other month following. And today we have Ariana, and Ariana says, I'm taking your homeschooler driver's ed course. The first enrichment activity was to take an observant ride. I went on a trip with my family from our small town to the big cities. Here are the things I noticed. People do not pay attention. I saw people looking at their phones while driving, either missing their turns or almost hitting other people. My family and I were parked in front of the building with the vehicle running, about to leave, and a group of adults came out of the building and walked right in front of our vehicle, mere inches away. They also had a small child trailing behind them who was too small for us to see. She stopped literally right in front of our SUV. Thankfully, the mom realized where her kid was and backtracked in front of our SUV to grab her. She could see that our SUV was running, but did not pick her kid up. She proceeded to stand there, trying to coax the kid to move. Finally, she got her kid to move, and we were able to pull out safely. This made me realize how important it is to pay attention when you're parked and about to put the vehicle into drive. I also saw multiple people run red lights and many people who did not use their blinkers, which is dangerous not only for themselves, but for other vehicles and pedestrians. And then she says, thank you for creating this course for homeschoolers like me. Have a blessed day.
Ooh,
Wow,
that
thank
was
you.
very good.
Yes, very nice, Ariana. So yeah, you know what? Welcome to the big city, right? I mean, it's this is why we suggest to go into your big cities early Sunday morning and learn about city driving because it's not busy. You don't want to go there on a practice driving route at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock at night or any weekday when businesses are open because you have all that, especially for a new driver. So for a new driver to experience that, it can get intimidating. And just remember this to all of you, the day's coming when you're going to drive in the big city. All right. So you can avoid that all you want. And remember, you learn more when you're younger. You will take more in. So, like I say, parents, go do that on an early Saturday. I'm not saying 4 o'clock in the morning, but if you go downtown Minneapolis, let's just say downtown Minneapolis at 8 a.m. on a Saturday morning, it's pretty light going, and grab some coffee on the way home or whatever. But yeah, the big city does have more distractions, even though it's busier, which is more dangerous, right? Because a couple things that you notice is the small town to the big city, you're always going to have more faster. Um, and then if we actually talk to the DMV, when you get into the little towns, the kids from the cities that go test in the little towns don't do as well because they're too quick for that little town. And then the little town kids that go to the big city to test, they don't do well because you have to see more. Things are happening more. So there's more of that distraction. So it kind of says, why don't we just stay in our backyard, right? No, I'm just kidding. But the not paying attention, people are going to run red lights. A red light, depending on the size of the intersection, is going to last anywhere from 90 seconds to 2 to 3 minutes. And really, if you timed it's not that long. It just seems like it's a long time, but people are impatient. That's why when that light turns yellow and they're 5 cars back, they're thinking they're gonna keep following. As long as tires the front tires of cars are not moving, they think they can make the next light, get through it. So for our students and parents, I want you to know this. A yellow light usually lasts 3 seconds. And here's what you need to know. 1001, 1002, 1003. Remember, yellow lights are not to accelerate through, they are to clear the intersection. In 3 seconds, I want you to know if you are behind that yellow light wanting to go through it, in 3 seconds, all your cross traffic has green. And that is where the big T-bones happen because people look at the green light and hit the gas and go. Okay. And now you decided to run that yellow way back 2 seconds before the intersection. Where is that red light happening? It happens before you get to the center of the intersection, right when that car gets the green, and that's where it gets the T-bone. So, you know, I always approach a green light expecting it to turn yellow. Okay. You do reach a point when you need to go through because we have to watch who's behind us. You know, we talked in a earlier podcast about tailgaters. You know, last thing I can do is slam on my brakes when I have a tailgater because now I'm going to be rear-ended. I'm the one that's going to get whiplash. But where do you draw the line? You know, so that's why if you expect that yellow light to happen when you're coming up to a green, it will be a less shock to your system to say, okay, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. At this point, I need to go through. So remember that you got 3 seconds before that light turns on 90%, 99% of them, I'll say. I watch that a lot when I'm out driving is how long does that yellow light last? And then next time you're sitting at a red, I want you just to watch kind of up at an angle and watch when people's light turns red to green, how fast they hit the accelerator and go. They don't look both ways, they just go. That is why we talk. Front tires don't lie. Watch the movement of the tires of the cars around you, and you will see if you guys are all moving into the same area, and that's where the crash happens. Um, and when you're in the cities, people just step in front of you. They zigzag around the cars. They don't walk in crosswalks. So once again, when you're driving down that road and you see three, four, five people come out of a department store, or they're in a busy street and they're in between two parked cars and they're looking to see what gap they're going to go, expect them to step in front of you. And remember this, do not swerve to miss them because you're going to be sideswiping another car and you're still going to get them. But now you created an at-fault accident to you. Okay? So what's happening in your lane is your lane. You're the driver. You need to be the defensive driver. And if I'm coming up and I'm seeing those people standing there, I'm always thinking, man, who's coming, who's beside me if I do have to do that? Because it's good to change lanes to avoid somebody. But if you got a big semi over there, you're going to panic and go away from whatever jumps in front of you, like the deer. You know, people in that situation downtown, people are like deer. They step in front of you, you know, they think you are going to stop. So that's why you're always ready for that. And that's what creates the good defensive drivers. And that's what actually keeps your mind always saying, what are they going to do? Because that is the job of us as smarter, safer drivers, is to figure out what the unknowns are going to do. And usually they have habits that always come back to what they're going to do. So it's a tough one, but it's, you know, if we can just do all the things and be ready for it, you know, sometimes the worst happens, but most of the time not.
Well, that's great advice, Mike. And that's the one thing that I think puts us a little ahead of many um, courses is that we're not just teaching you how to pass your permit test, but you're teaching them all these defensive driving skills that they have to stay alive. So we always
Yeah.
appreciate that. And I think
Yeah.
so do our students and parents.
I'm so happy we created throwing parents under the bus because, you know, my friends, when I talk to them, old friends, say, wow, that's awesome. So now me as a parent, I got to really pay attention to the driver's ed because my kids are watching me. And we've always said that way 30 years ago, 40 years ago.
Hmm.
So yeah, for these kids to come out and thank you, Ariana, for saying, thank you guys. You're welcome, because that's why we do that is when, and then when we hear it from you young people saying, you know what, hey, great course, that means you guys are paying attention. You're not just trying to get through a book because too many parents throw their kids in the classroom and say you're taking driver's ed, and they don't even know what driver's ed is. You know what? You're going to get your permit and you're going to start driving this big car, and don't worry about it. I mean, we should worry about it. So anyway, I'll be quiet.
No, that's perfect, Mike. We appreciate you very much. So that's great. And of course, well, that I guess concludes this today's episode. And we of course thank everyone for joining us. And if you picked up something new, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with your friends and family, and especially anyone who wants to learn how to survive driving with folks that don't pay attention. Now you can catch every episode on our YouTube channel at Drive Safe, Ride Safe 1, which is the number, not the name. You could hit subscribe, it's free, and you'll be able to be the first to know when a new episode drops. And of course, if you've got a question or a story or a topic you want us to cover, email us at drivesaferidesafe@gmail.com. We really do read them, and your message might just spark our next episode. And of course, we thank Ariana and all of our students who send us such great ideas and also are such good students. I'm Jane Ubel, and this has been Throwing Your Parents Under the Bus podcast. And remember to steer clear of those distracted drivers and always, always
Drive safe.
Ride safe.
.com.
Bye, everyone.